Hello. There we go. So we're going to do this again a little bit. But with a different book. Check it out.
Riviera, past Stephen Adams, from swerve of shore to bend of bay, brings us by a commodious because of recirculation back to Howth Castle and environs. Sir Tristram, Viola Damos, for over the short sea, had Passencourt arrived. From north, Armoric on the side of Scraggy Isthmus of Europe Minor to wield a fight his penny solid war, nor had topsails rocks by the stream Aconi exaggerated themselves to Lawrence County Scorgios while they went Dublin there. Umber all the time, nor voice from a fire bellows Missy to toft off. You are Petrick, not yet, though very soon after. Had a kid scared, but indeed a bland. Old Isaac, not yet, though all's fair and vain as he, were so he says those rough with. To Nahenjo, wrought a pack of posmalt had J. Hammershin brewed by Arklay. And roaried end to the Reginbra was to be seen rinsome on the aquaface. A fall. Bubadal guard takam in Ronkin Brunton Errinju and Thuntroveran onskund. Horden and Thurnock. Of a once Wall Street old pars retailed early in bed end. Later on life down through all Christian minstrelsy. The great fall of the awful entailed at such short notice that hefty day shoot of Finnegain are solid. Man, that the humpty head of himself promptly sends an unquiring one well to the west in quest of his tum-to-tum-dos. And they're up there in Pike Point Town Place is at the knockout in the park where oranges have been laid to rust upon the green. Since Devlin's first loved Livy. And so there fell also a crash as the womit to his foot in that patchwork. Van Bun went the drum bodrum before they could even spill the bean storage clean up on the boardings. His old salvage unsutured fast by ring-dating phoneyman's fearpence fiddle string fueled. Yond Helen went down on a mismatched marrowless night when he thought she thought was really well in her beds of roses. Ed the Hoshman went cometh within home from his strumping. Shriek she into the speaker funny hole. Hide your soon hear a sheath. No tie and turn to ride and stealth or arrive his sensibilities. Just a fall full of fallow through an opening. A sudden closetude of close call. And someone into witty all-round box with the shirtiers and shuftles that hangered their hessian hopes and dreadful despairs. Treated. Hearkenings no through crack and wall swords up and worded from that outside world's wide wood unto his inside shelved soul prison. And you is to so drink this own home better at the diwas I knew you hearse through the knot tully in his hitting stuck his ear with twiddling. Of the secret seepages, the Lilo litany. Someone speaking of another ladabity whomsoever else says a hocus pocus house and you master bella flop spare knew the anti-whore of their whole dumb family psychologic cycle. And in a voice, a place posture, a past or a past judgment, perhaps some from preter's period, print prestige of the very river in Revelation is all tangled into wound and the yarfles in a trouser pocket. Hear his own heart going boom-pa-tappa, taxica by weena clacket gold like someone gleamy hard-headed from a pocket bucky. They pled damper and end out her off his hide and seeking dream saf. All had rolled those lives in the limphodium, that niche of the Thanos, hold their hollers, the ring groomers, and who were not at word 3 or 2 or never 10 or 50 shades up by what no of the others, and the mothers who most surely knew and phantoms, unknown thebigers and betters who pulled strings of their bare vestments re-tround of a foolery wheel off them. The pull up and putting back into their lives slave year tendence astips and a discombobulatory dance the floor of disastrous decisions. All in the cupboards close-lid waiting for the judgment or there be backs and barking off another knocking. Here it come already. They're all common for to carry I'm haunted or stepping out and intouchables closet full of scent time.
And
plates and ales and askew buttonholes in the old overcoat, and a letter to the king about the servants' wages of the poorhouse and the funerals, and a letter to the king about the waltzer singing and the children's playing, and a letter to the king about the shenanigans at the convent school and the flogging, and a letter to the king about the woman impregnated on the sofa in the gas chamber. Since Devlin's first love, Clivy, yet no hawk, hiss and post. From the pale Gringoldy pumice bed where Humpshed fell with a great groggy gruntling from his hill heights, behold, the rising from his runestone, not a king of old Ireland be a kinder beknown, nor Patrick Perspitum, nor common found Coddard, but the boldest bulwark of a new delation come from the concrete.
Here we go.
You rehearsed himselly in the rubblements of his revenue, finding footing on a ford fond him and looking for fro. Emma face down Failaborough, yet with a sudden swellman strunt, and a gilded edge glaze upon his goglin gloamers, stake into the dust devils dancing, their reel of no returns. Believe it. Tremendous! The best fall. Nobody had a better fall. Huge. The very, very best. But that was history, yes. A little piece of hick skin. And from the ground zero somewhere my good-ass names got dirted and my reputation, see, like a knockout. Hefty to shoot, indeed. Not saucy Southers Rathalam, nay, but leveraging. At for my fells, finding the Upton from the turn down the pages of this Sostedham's doomsdays. Now, look at this. Bellev is where we art, the art of the deal. By trumpetery! His Humptailhead wasn't searching tum-to-tumtos for lost souls, oh no, but for the footprints of competitors he had outpaced, outpriced, and utterly outroited. The knockout in the park became not a scuffle over green and orange rot, but the strategic acquisition of real estatement parcels, turning parks into parking gars and orangeries into high-end flatulent flats where the rent was hugest and the mortgage was supposite it took for 4 to 4 fortnights. You knew Awoken was key, the art not of loving viler damours. And with that pronunciamento, the air did shift from a straussy morosity to the sharp-winded smell of cement and cattle. Commodious figures of recirculation became a highway bypass and overpassed through his own persona turbulence.
Hold on.
Into the blue ones,
Oh, Lord.
of fortune,
Hold on.
every cornerstone a contractor's chronostat. He spoke not of his act nor in a tendril, nor shim nor shone, but of ashsits and liability tidings, of gold plate, guldens, and bankruptcy.
Hold on.
Of making.
We are doing this again. Right, not the whole thing. Is Humpty Tailhead? God damn you.
His Humptailhead wasn't searching tum-to-tumtos for lost souls, oh no, but for the footprints of competitors he had outpaced, outpriced, and utterly outroited. The knockout in the park became not a scuffle over green and orange rot, but the strategic acquisition of real estatement parcels, turning parks into parking gars and orangeries into high-end flatulent flats where the rent was hugest and the mortgage was supposite it took for 4 to 4 fortnights. He knew Awoken was key, the art not of loving viler damours, but of love urging. Not pass uncle re-arriving, but pass concurrent over terms. Get leverage, he bellows, and the dust bunny dollars quivered. Huge. You get the leverage, see. They're on their back and cool, maybe. Maybe not. You gotta feel it. The no giashes. Like my hands, okay? Very, very big hands. Proportionate hands, people say. They know hands. And the narrative unwound itself not as the dream of all history in one man's sleeping, but as the fever chart of 1,000 deals happening simultaneously in one wakeful mind's IPO leverage from his own alleged near falls and highly embroidered comebacks. From the fall of a Wall Street old power, a new kind of parapost stood tall, chromed and glass-tinted, casting a gold-plated shadow across the recircling bay. And there we go. The art is not in the storying of mankind's cyclical doom. but in the closing of a deal, sealing it with a big, beautiful signature and telling everybody again and again how it was the greatest deal ever dealt, truly tremendous. It was his trump cardigans and his leverage legions that now marched forth, selling consoles and golf course greens, bearing even Adams was under strata of wealth of much money and the goldenest towers ever built. It was not revere running anymore, but a tidal flow of transactional drips, bringing us by a commodious trumpicus of speculaculation back to huge castle of edification and enormous profitings. His penny solid war, it was fought in the boardrooms with sharp, gilded tongues, winning winningly till winning wasn't winning anymore, but the onlyest thing that had ever been or would ever be, since Devlin's first love to Liddy. Yet no hork, hist and post. From the pale green goldy pumice bed where Humpshiat fell with the great Grogigran gruntling from his hill heights, behold, the arising from his ruined stone, not a king of old Ireland.
That was the river run of that. So apparently, it takes great effort to give you the Vicus Service circulation, and evermore, like in Weekend at Finnegan's Weekend at Bernie's, and this one is a B, ever B, definitely. Wow, it knows it. It knows. It tries to make it in miniature. I'm noticing the themes because I tried it on Showgirls, and I noticed that it's using the phrases in the first page of Finnegan's Wake, and so it then starts to become like derivative instead of generative, instead of synthesized. So I'm curious as to how future things are going to do based on where in the book I start from as the feeding thing, as the training thing, as a one-shot thing. So in case I was surprised that another title that I wasn't planning to do made it. Can you guess what it was? It was R. Kelly's Trapped in the Closet. So I think I found my new machine, my Finnegan's Wikulator. I'm gonna put all the pivot and tell us the content of the June 1984 issue of Hustler, or something. I don't know. Something. I'm gonna find the outlier shit and see if Finnegan's Wake that shit. All right. That's it for now. I'm gonna do another one shortly.